Hi folks, my name is Don Wiest. I'm the OEC expert, and today we have a question from Sherry, Minnesota. She asks, why is it so important whether the Earth is 6,000 years old or 6 million years old? Well, that's an excellent question, Sherry. And before we begin, I want to clarify something. Actually, scientists say the Earth is about 4.6 billion years old, as well as the local solar system. Now, the way we test that is with, there's various ways that we measure the age of rocks, okay? One of them is called radiometric testing. And basically, those are tests that measure the isotope decay rates in rocks. An isotope is, without getting too much into chemistry, an isotope is two or more atoms with the same atomic weight, but with different numbers of neutrons, okay? Now, we also, in addition to measuring rocks here on Earth, we also measure rocks from space. Now, how do we do that? Well, the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter is where 99% of all the asteroids come from. And guess what? Every single asteroid sample that we've ever measured is 4.6 billion years old. And we have one other clarifier in that. Since we've made the moon landing, we now have the capability of measuring the age of moon rocks. And you guessed it, 4.6 billion years old for every moon rock. Now, with respect to the YEC-OEC controversy, we need to understand the geological, the cosmological, and the biological advances that scientists have made today, because they've been tremendous. We have space-based telescopes, we have all kinds of new discoveries that we have made that are important, and we need to understand them. Why do we need to understand them? Well, because we have to be able to talk to scientists, secular scientists, and non-believers. But more importantly, we also have a confrontation today with the educational system, because the only thing taught in our classrooms is Darwinian evolution, and that's not right. They should have other options. Okay, here's what it all comes down to. It is impossible to do that if we continue to insist that the Earth is only 6,000 years old and we base that on genealogical records. We have to be able to talk intelligently, and the only way we can do that is to understand, right? Let me give you an example. Back in the 1500s, it was a common, most every single person believed that the Earth was the center of the universe. Specifically the solar system, but also the universe. All the planets, including the sun, all the stars rotated around the Earth, okay? Now this was called the Ptolemaic model, and it was after Ptolemy, who was a philosopher in Egypt. But there were two people who disagreed with this, and you probably remember their names. The first one was Copernicus. He was a mathematician. And the second one was Galileo. He was an astronomer and a mathematician. They both said, wait a minute, something's not right here. We believe that the Earth is not the center, but that the sun is the center of the solar system. Now, this was called the heliocentric model. For over 200 years, this debate raged back and forth. There were lots of people that still believe that the Earth, including religious communities, that believe that the Earth was the center of the universe. And Copernicus and Galileo still insisted that it wasn't. 200 years later, this entire debate was finally put to an end by Sir Isaac Newton when he dropped that ridiculous proverbial apple in the garbage can. He said that Copernicus and Galileo were in fact right. Here's the point that I want to make with this. This debate raged on for hundreds and hundreds of years while the information was there and it was plain all the time. Now, I want to ask you a question, Sherry. Can you find anybody today that really believes, any sane person anyway, that believes that the Earth is the center of our solar system? And the answer to that is no. All right. When I use that example, I am saying that if we are a believer, we cannot be modern day Ptolemaic believers, okay? We cannot do that. And the reason why we can't do that is because there is overwhelming scientific evidence to tell us differently. So for us, in the believer community, to insist that the earth is only 6,000 years old, it makes us look silly, and then we're unable to communicate. I want to make one other point clear before I close. The true age of the earth is not important to your salvation, but it is extremely important to somebody else's salvation if they ask you an intelligent question. That is why it's important to know the age of the earth. Okay? Listen, folks, keep sending those comments and emails in, and we'll be happy to answer them. Even if they don't deal directly with the OEC-YEC debate, we still want to answer them. And I look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye.